OG CoreTalk is the channel where we compress multi-hour, high-signal videos into clear, actionable breakdowns so you can steal the best ideas without losing your week. If you want more content like this, subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss a summary that can actually move your business forward. At the end of this video, I'll remind you again to subscribe if this episode helped you see audience growth in 2026 more strategically. This video is Alex Hormozi's playbook for how he would grow an audience from scratch in 2026 based on going from 0 to hundreds of thousands of followers on LinkedIn, TikTok, and X, plus tens of millions of podcast downloads and a 700K person email list. He argues that most people obsess over tactics, hashtags, posting times, algorithms, instead of designing a clear brand, a valuable product, and a content system that can scale to tens of thousands of pieces per year. The whole talk is structured around one question. If he lost everything and had to rebuild his audience today, knowing what he knows now, what exactly would he do? Brand equals product times action. Hormozi starts by defining brand as a deliberate pairing, your product, what you help people achieve, times the action you want them to take. He says your brand is not your logo or colors, it's the repeatable promise in people's heads when they see your name. For example, his brand is helping entrepreneurs make more money, and nearly all his content points back to that outcome. He insists you must decide up front. Who is your specific audience? What painful problem are you solving? What transformation do you want to be known for? Without that, your content will be random and unmemorable. He also stresses that the quality of the product behind your content matters. The easiest way to grow is to have something so good that people feel compelled to talk about it. Volume, iteration, and the cost of mastery. Hormozi then leans hard into the numbers. To get where he has invested roughly $4 million into team and equipment, spent around 1,000 hours on camera, and published around 35,000 pieces of content across platforms. The point is not to flex, but to make the price of mastery obvious. If you aren't willing to produce an insane amount of content and iterate, you won't win. He frames content like reps in the gym. It's unreasonable to expect biceps from a handful of workouts, yet many creators expect huge audiences from 10 to 20 posts. In 2026, the bar is even higher because competition has exploded. The answer is not to complain about the algorithm, but to out-create and out-iterate other people in your niche. Hormozi emphasizes that volume alone is not enough. You need structured feedback loops. That means looking at what actually gets watch time, saves, and shares, then deliberately making more of that instead of what your ego prefers. Platform strategy. Where to start? He explains that different platforms have different strengths, but the underlying principles are the same. Hook fast, deliver clear value, and create content people want to share. Short form, like TikTok, Reels, Shorts, is best for reach and testing tons of hooks quickly. Long form, like YouTube or podcast, is best for trust, depth, and turning casual viewers into real fans. Own channels, like email list or community, protect you from platform changes and allow you to actually monetize. If he was starting now, he would likely choose one long-form platform, YouTube or a podcast, as his core, then repurpose content to everything else. The goal is distribution by design. Every long-form piece automatically produces many clips and written posts. Hooks, frameworks, and repeating what works. Hormozi insists that in 2026, the hook is everything. People scroll faster than ever, and you maybe have 1 to 2 seconds to convince them to stop. That means leading with a sharp contrast, a specific result, or a painful mistake, never a vague intro or your life story. He talks about creating content frameworks, repeatable formats that you can plug different topics into, such as X mistakes, Y lessons from Z, do this, not that, or if I started again, here's what I do. These formats make production faster and make your feed feel coherent. Instead of trying to be infinitely creative, he recommends recycling proven hooks with new angles. For example, if "How I'd Start from Zero with No Money" performs well, you can later test "How I'd Start from Zero with $1,000, "How I'd Start from Zero at 40, etc. The creativity is in the specifics and examples, not in reinventing the structure every time. Signal over noise, what to measure. Hormozi warns creators not to obsess over vanity metrics early on. The key questions are people watching most of a video or bouncing in the first few seconds? Do they save, share, or comment in ways that show real understanding? Does the content actually bring you leads, opportunities, or sales? He also points out that high RPM is a signal about your audience. If advertisers pay more, it usually means your audience has money and buying intent, which is good if you plan to sell high-ticket products or services. In other words, 10,000 views from the right people are more valuable than 1 million views from random teenagers. In 2026, algorithm changes and AI tools make it easier to produce content, harder to stand out. Being ruthlessly focused on business outcomes is a competitive edge. Team, delegation, and building a content machine. Hormozi spends time on the production machine behind his content. He describes how a single recording becomes dozens of clips, posts, and emails thanks to editors, writers, and operators who specialize in each part of the pipeline. If he were starting over with no money, he wouldn't hire a big team, but he would think in systems from day one. Batch record multiple videos per session. Use templates for editing and thumbnails. Document processes so you can eventually hand them off. Once you have proof that your content generates real opportunities, clients, sales, deals, he believes it makes sense to reinvest aggressively into production quality and volume. That's how you go from a solo creator to a media company. Mindset, patience, identity, and playing long games. Finally, Hormozi hits the mindset side. Growing an audience is slow, and most people quit just before compounding kicks in. He stresses that you must see yourself as a media company that happens to sell X, not just someone who occasionally posts. He suggests detaching your self-worth from each piece of content. Use negative feedback as data, not as a verdict on your value. The creators who win are those who can withstand months or years of low numbers while still publishing relentlessly and iterating. The video closes with a simple summary. Pick a clear problem to solve, commit to massive volume with feedback loops, design a system that turns long form into endless short form, and be willing to out-persist everyone else. In 2026, algorithms will keep changing, but people will always be drawn to content that solves real problems, delivered by someone who clearly knows what they're talking about. If this OG CoreTalk breakdown saved you hours and gave you a concrete roadmap for building an audience this year, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with a creator or entrepreneur who needs a more serious content strategy.